everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. I'm just going to put together the papers for my Wonderland journal. I have shown the paper. It's a Stamperia paper pad, and I'll just be referring to it as Wonderland because that is the name of the paper pad that I'll be using. So I'm just organising the papers for that, and I have on my desk a hot mess as usual, but I have here quite a few papers that I want to include. Now, I've been thinking about this journal for a long time, and I think it's going to be a chunkier monkey than the last journal I did. So I'm questioning whether or not I have my spine wide enough or whether I need to make it wider. So I'm not going to go ahead with the cover just yet. I've also been painstakingly toying with how many signatures I should have, and I still haven't decided. So I'm going to put quite a few signatures together, and I'm going to use the paper pad for that, and then we'll move on from there. Any leftovers obviously I can use throughout the journal in other things. So I want to get these signatures sorted before I move forward. So that being said, I'm thinking maybe 6 signatures, and I've just realized I haven't pulled out enough paper, but that's okay because I can add to it as I go. I just want to get some structure. 6 signatures sounds like a lot, but I do have an idea of where I want to go with this, so I'm just going to stick with the 6 for now. I don't usually do even numbers, I usually do odd numbers, so that may mess with my head a little bit, but we'll kick this into gear. Now, I have taken this piece of tea stain paper, and to get a gauge, it's a full sheet, so my cover, I don't remember, sorry, I'll just grab it. I did this one when I did the children's journal, so it's the same size, so it's roughly 6 by 8.5, and I hope you could see that, sorry, so 8.5 by not quite 6, and that measurement came from the size of a folded piece of A4 paper. So I took my sheet of paper, I folded it in half, and as you see, if I pop that over the cover, it fits in there quite snugly. Gives me that little border all the way around the outside, which is exactly what I was after. So just popping that back so I don't have it mixed up with the rest of the mess in my space. I've got things everywhere. I feel like I need to stop creating and start sorting, but the creating is far too fun, so it kind of takes precedence. So I've taken my A4 sheet, and on my guillotine here, and I have got the big beast out, I have measured it, and I've actually gone 1 millimeter more than the width of this paper, sorry, the length of this paper. And just made a mark there on my guillotine. This is just to make things easier for me and to make this process scooch along a bit quicker. And I have made the height exactly the same as my piece of paper. So that being said, once I've got that organized, I can go through and pick my papers, which is the fun part. So this one here is a must. And I think I might just cut as I choose them. So now I need to get my head around what I'm doing. So I'm thinking he will be glorious on the front like that. So, and I just realized I need to move this box out of the way. So sorry. Okay, so I've also made a little mark at the top here because I have got marks all over my board, my guillotine board, so I wanted to make it a little bit more user-friendly. Taking my life in my own hands here. I hope this is right. I'm nervous. Okay, first cut done. And then I'm thinking I want him completely, so I'm going to cut the little strip off the end here and just finding my mark. Okay, and we have our first piece of paper. I'm so excited. Okay. Okay, and I really like this one. So remembering I'm looking for 6 sheets. I may go through and choose. So I'm thinking I could give that one a miss. I really, really want that piece. So that's 3. They're good journaling cards, and so are they. I love this one. And I actually love the fact that this one doesn't have an image on it. So that one, and I really love this one. I really love them all. That one. And this one. And I think that's our 6 actually. Which is perfect because I believe, oops, I believe the rest are journaling cards. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was meant to be. Okay. Oh, I'm loving this too. Okay, so thinking down there. Or do I want to go the other way and have that pretty part at the top? Maybe I do. It'll be at the top of the back page. No, perhaps I'll go this way. The logistics, it's all very, very important. Okay, and then my width. So that's 2. Not necessarily in that order. Now, I don't like that that's going to cut these butterflies off. As much as I love this bit down here, I'm thinking maybe of going that way. And then I can create a pocket or something out of that piece, and I can still have the beautiful butterfly details on that piece. I think that's how I'm going to do that one. So just lining myself up. Sorry, it has a tendency to curl sometimes against the edge, so I tend to just run my finger across it to make sure it's, oops, I'll grab the paper underneath my guillotine, making a mess of things as usual. Oh, now which way to cut this? I'm thinking this way, because this little butterfly here is already cut in half. He's not complete, so it just leaves the butterfly wings, which I think is really cute. Yes. Okay, now this one. Now I need to work out where I think I like the fact that there's 3 layers in that for a page, and then having the plain for pockets and things, so I think I will cut it that way. keep that pattern detail on the paper for the page rather than for the pockets. Like I said, it's all very technical. Really, I just want to showcase the papers as best I can because I think they're stunning. Okay. Beautiful. Now this little princess here, so that's going to cut her wings. I'm not happy about that. So I'm wondering if I cut her page about there. I'm thinking maybe I have 2 rows of text. Sorry guys, I'm lining up the text at the bottom to see how weighted she'll be on the page. So initially I was going to go 1 line of text here, but I'm thinking perhaps 2 just to give her a bit of a grounding. Obviously my strips are going to be separated, but I'm okay with that if she's placed well on the page. So I'm just using this piece as a guide to where roughly I want her. So much focus. I'm actually focusing on this spot right here. I don't know if you can see it in camera, but I'm lining up my top sheet with my bottom sheet. I don't know if you're interested in that, but that's what I was doing. So I still have quite a nice size piece that I can use. And then I can use my guide here to cut the right height. And again, I still have quite a decent sized strip there, so that's awesome. And then I'm just going to check and see where she'll be placed on the page if I cut this side. I'm kind of liking that she's over this side of the page a little bit, but I think I'm going to cut it there. Fingers crossed I don't cut a wing. Where am I going to cut her wing? It's very, very close. And I also use these papers to put my lace on. So with that in mind, maybe I shouldn't. So close and yet so far. So my center marker's here. So she's still sort of in that 1/2 to 1/3 of the page. I think I will cut the other side just to allow myself space to put some lace down the side. As I said, I really don't want to clip her wing because that would make me really sad. And it would probably make her really sad too. Oh, beautiful. Okay, now this piece here, I think I will use the bottom flower. It will be at the back page, but that's perfectly okay. So the height. That way, and then the length And the reason I've made these sheets just that fraction wider, and as I said, I've only gone 1 millimeter, is because once I have the bulk of my papers inside my signatures, the more papers I have in there, the more they peep out from the edge. So, and I think that's all 6 of them, so I can pop this away. Okay, so here we have our papers. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. And we have our beautiful little scraps here. Getting ideas already. Now, I did want to talk to you about my plans for this journal. So, like I said, I've been planning this journal for a little while now. And it is going to be bigger than Ben-Hur. And don't ask me where that expression came from because I really don't know, but I think it's going to be quite the work in progress, because as I talk to you more about it, you'll have more of an understanding. But that being said, I'm actually thinking about having another project going at the same time. So not sure if I'll do the signatures for that while I'm filming, or whether I will do it off camera, but that is kind of where my process is thinking. I'm being lazy here because I don't want to work out where center is, so I am folding this piece, and that's going to tell me exactly where I need to score. And it's not lining up, and it may be because I added that slightly extra amount. So in true fashion with my scoreboard, if I move that across to where I need it to be, and I line up my papers with that little pencil mark that I've got on my scoreboard, then that will give me center. And I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing. Goodness me. I know that it's the point after where I've got that mark, so just going to score my papers. Okay, so lining up with my pencil mark and scoring the one after that pencil mark. All about the pencil marks today. Making sure it's folding evenly. Oh, she does look pretty on that page, doesn't she? It's not quite even. Okay, scooching along. So I wanted to talk to you about this journal. It's got my creative juices flowing, and I have had all sorts of ideas for this journal, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to pull them off. And I don't know how big it's going to make this journal. I'm not in a hurry to get this one done, so I can take my time, which I am planning on doing, and I'll let you know now. So the paper pad is called Wonderland, and obviously we've got fairies and unicorns and all those magical things, and that's where my head has gone to: magic and secret fairy gardens and mystic and hiding. And so that being said, there's some of the keywords that have got me in my creative process and have made me wonder how I can incorporate those things into what I really love that, into what I want to add in this journal. So we're going to see where that takes us. We're going to have some fun with it, and I have no idea. Like I said, I'm coming up with ideas all over the place, a little bit higgledy-piggledy, and I have no idea. I've not tried half these things. They're just things that have popped into my head. I've been in the most obscure places when I've had a vision or a thought, or I might be driving in the car. I was in a church one day and had a vision there. Where else have I been? I've been for coffee and had visions there. I've been watching other people's videos online and have had a vision there. Just all these crazy ideas that have got my mind racing. And I want to take my time because it's the first time I've done this. I am a bit sad that I'm cutting that saying off. Fantasy is hardly an escape from reality. It's a way of understanding it. I like that a lot. I don't even know what I was saying now, but it can be amazing the things that inspire me. Like it literally can be a cup of coffee that inspires me, and I go, what about trying this? Or the surroundings where I'm having the cup of coffee, or an image that I see, or it could be something as simple as, I don't know, a window or a door or a flower in the garden, or I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm all kinds of crazy. But anyway, so that's a little insight into where this is going. And because I have so many crazy ideas, and honestly my mind is working overtime at the moment, and it is quite exhausting to be constantly thinking of new and crazy ideas. So that being said, there may be little interludes where I work on projects for other journals just to give my creative mind a break while I'm working on this journal, but I'm excited to see where it takes us. So I hope you stick around for the ride. It could be really good, or it could be really, really chaotic. I don't know, but anyway. So I have some papers here. I have my beautiful tea-stained coloured papers, and I've only collected 3 of each of those, so I may have to look into getting more. I've got a funny feeling that either the pink or the purple, I think it's the purple, I think they're my last 3, so that may be all we do for this journal, unless I have a tea staining frenzy between now and when I finish the journal. And I've got some tea stain pages here. And what else did I collect? I've collected all sorts of things. So I've got here some, these are pages out of a diary I picked up just recently. They don't actually have dates on them. They just have a little spot for the date. Let's see if I can show you. It was in, I think it's my second last video. So you'll see the diary there. It was in one of my collecting and gathering videos, and I've pulled those apart, and I did end up with some outer pages, or some pages that tore slightly, and they've gone into my collaging papers, and these are the ones that were okay to use. I'm going to run out of room here. Let's see if I can lift you up a bit again. Sorry, I'm taking you on a ride, aren't I? Okay, you may have a more overall view. Now, some other papers I've collected, and when I decided to start filming, I still hadn't decided how many signatures I was going to do, so I clearly haven't collected enough of these papers, and I will have to add more, but that's okay, we can get started. So there's some line sheets and they are full size, so I can fold them. I have here some, these are beetroot stained sheets. So I'm thinking about including those. And they may make up for the purple that I don't have. Perhaps in the signatures that I don't have the purple, I can have the beetroot stain. That could work too. And I have here some graph paper. Now I did actually consider cutting the graph paper in half and just doing a half a sheet because it is quite tall. So I think I may do that. But I will have to do that off camera because my little guillotine, the blade is really blunt again and it's kind of shredding the paper. So I think it would be safer to do these with my big guillotine. So to save time and getting that out, I may do that off camera. And I wasn't sure about doing these half size, but let me have a look. Maybe I will. Maybe I will do those half size. I've just realised this one's torn, so I may have to get another piece. So I'm going to do those off camera and incorporate those. I will just fold these beetroot pages. Okay. And these ones do have quite a bit of crunch to them. I don't really know why, but once they dried, they have a real crispness. Hence the crackly sound that I get from them, which I think is quite fun. Okay. And this is folding this way already, so I might do it this way. And I'm going to pop these in here with the purple ones. As I said, I don't know whether I will have time to tea stain. I am taking my time with this journal, so if I do more of the purple, I may add more purple and then add... Actually, I didn't check my drawer. Just bear with me. No, I don't. So I do have some more of the pink and green on my desk. So I'll go that way. One. I also have a big pile over to my left of things that I want to tea stain possibly for this journal. So this is simply just the beginning. What else I incorporate, I don't know. Hence the reason behind, do I want to add a bigger spine? I just don't know how far I can stretch this out. So if I could get my mind to slow down and get some sort of vision, it would probably be so much better. But at the minute, I don't know if I'm a fan of the speckling given the theme. So I think I might choose a different one, actually. Sorry, I'm just checking more doily. Oh, and that was that. No, I think I'm just going to include that one. Okay, so that's 6 of those, and then I want 3 more of the green. Just organising my mess. I have doilies. More doilies. Got doilies everywhere. So I don't need more of those. Okay, so I want one like this. As you know, it's winter where we are, and I've got the fire going. I'm actually thinking about trying some tea staining with the fireplace. Not really sure how that will go. I have tea stained fabrics with the fireplace rather than the stove or some sort of burner. I've put my pot on the stove and, sorry, on the fireplace, and boiled my fabrics in that, and they came out really, really well. So I'm thinking about using the fireplace to dry some tea stained items. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure yet, but so 1, 2, 3. I want another darker piece like this one. That one perhaps. I think that will be fine. And I might put the doily. No, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I think too much, guys. Okay. So that gives us 6 in each of those piles. So I probably don't have enough tea stained folded because I wasn't really planning on doing 6 signatures when I started the camera. So we'll see how this goes. So what do I want to do? I'm winging it here. And I still have to add my graph and lined paper, so I don't know whether I want to alternate my tea stained with each of these. Oh, isn't that pretty? I should just check and make sure you focus properly. Hoping that was okay. And a tea stained. Now, I do have the lined and the graph, so I can add those later. So I'm going to leave that at that. And I'm going to pop that in the signature. And as you can see, I possibly could have made that a little bit wider. I possibly could have left it the full length. So I may need to trim those, but that's fine. Or my laces may cover up the excess, which is also fabulous. So I'm just going to do each one the same, I think. So I'm just referring to my last one as a guide. Definitely going to have to do some more tea stain paper. So that instead of the purple, and another tea stained. And I believe I mentioned in a previous video, this is a gift, so hence the reason I can take as much time as I need to. I've given myself plenty of time to work on it, so because the more I was thinking about it, the more crazy my harebrained schemes were becoming, and I figured I would need plenty of time to get this one done. Okay. Oops. And I think I finished with a tea stain in the middle. Yes, indeed. Oh, that's so pretty. How gorgeous is that? Okay. And I'm definitely going to need to fold some more tea stain paper. Although I did get 4 signatures done. That's kind of awesome. I was just thinking there's a lot of inking that's going to need to be done here. Okay, so I'm going to pop these to the side. I've got 1 sheet, how funny. And I do have some more tea stain paper here. I've gone all quiet, haven't I? I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking now, what do I want to do after I get this done? I have been preparing myself a little box of bits and pieces to incorporate, as well as, so when I've been having these crazy ideas, because a lot of the time I've been out and about, I started making a note of them in my phone. So I can't very easily draw, but I've actually been trying to draw pictures of the picture in my head, so that, as well as writing down instructions for myself, so that when I go to remember what my thought was, because as you know, we can have 1,000 thoughts a day and we remember like 2. So, well, I do anyway. So some of these thoughts have popped into my mind at some of the craziest of times, and I've thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to remember exactly what I'm visualizing right now. So I've tried to create myself some picture clues as well as written instructions of what I had in mind. I don't know how many of those crazy ideas I will actually decide, yes, I want to include that, or yes, I think that really will work in hindsight, but I have got that there as a reference. So I don't know, does anybody else do that? Does anybody else have crazy ideas? That one's torn a little bit. So have crazy ideas when they're out and about that refer to their journals, or is it just me? Like, is anybody else that immersed in what they're doing that I sometimes feel like I eat, sleep and breathe them at the moment. Constantly thinking and creating with my mind, and it's so much fun, I've got to say. I really, really love it. And I've got family and friends who are doing the same thing, and I don't know whether I'm happy or sad for them. I'm happy for me because some of their ideas, I think we were watching a cooking show, My Kitchen Rules or something, last night, and there was an ad popped on the screen, I think, and or maybe it had something to do with the show itself. And hubby was like, oh, I should take you there. And I said, why is that? I wasn't actually looking at the time. I was looking at my iPad or phone. And so it must have been an ad, because I tend to do that in the ads. And he was like, oh, I should take you there. And I said, why? I think it was like a honey shop or a shop. It was food related. So it wasn't an ad. It was a section and of the show. And obviously something about my phone called out to me. And anyway, so, and I'm thinking, how can I use a food product like honey or nuts or cheese was another one that they were shopping in their specialty shops. And I was like, I don't really know where you're going with this. And all of a sudden I said, was the packaging brown paper by chance? And he said, yes it was. Oh, bless his heart for even thinking about it. Oh dear, he is so in tune with what I'm doing. Like, he's seeing things that I don't necessarily see, and I actually love it. I don't know whether I'm scared for him, but he's that far into my head and my crafting. But just bless his heart for being so interested in what I'm doing, because he's a fisherman. So he loves his fishing, and I am so not that person. I actually said to him recently, I wish I liked it like he did, so I could be as involved as him, but I'm afraid it's just not my thing. I love the fact that he loves it so much, and I've told him that, but oh, actually no, it wasn't fishing we were talking about, it's football. But the same applies with fishing. Like, I love that he has things in his life that he's passionate about, and I sometimes wish that I shared that passion and excitement with him for those things, but it just isn't meant to be. We're not meant to be passionate about the same things, which is fine, because, you know, it can lead to some really different and interesting conversations about all manner of things, so that's okay. But oh my goodness, it's coming together so beautifully, and I'm loving it already. So I do have some doilies here that I've popped aside that I was going to include, so I'm just going to give myself a little bit more room, I think. Sorry if I sound a bit funny. I feel like I'm struggling with a little bit of sinus at the moment, so I'm hoping that's not too cumbersome when I talk to you. It's not like super bad or anything, but I am noticing that it's becoming a little bit more prominent. I'm hoping it just scooches along quite nicely, because I don't need that in my life. These are so fragile sometimes. I'm often worried that I'm going to rip them. Not that I think I have at this stage, but they just have a real delicacy about them. Okay. Gosh, I haven't even checked the time. I'm just working away here, chattering along. Probably boring you to tears, but sorry about that, guys. Worst comes to worst, I can always split the video into two if I have to. Like I said, oh, did I say? I don't know. I don't remember whether I was just thinking it. But I don't know if I will video all of the journal process for this journal. I'd like to video as much as I can. It is a gift, and there is every chance that the person who's going to receive the gift will watch or see things online if I post them. So I guess that's the risk of knowing me and watching what I do. Stop watching now if you don't want to see. But yeah, so I don't know if I will video every part of the process, partly because I'm delving into unknown territory and I don't know how I feel about doing that on video. I would love to take you along with me if I possibly can, so I'll do my very best. I am noticing quite a limitation with videoing. Like I've said to you, I don't like videoing when hubby's around because I find it really odd, me sitting in here talking to myself, which I know I'm really talking to all of you, but I still feel like when he's in the house, I'm talking to myself. So I find it really restricting. And he would be perfectly okay with it. I know he would be. But it's not just about that. It's about the noise factor too. So I feel like there may be quite a bit of background noise for you guys if I video when there's other people in the house. So I'm popping these in here. I don't know whether they'll stay there or whether I would prefer them against the lined and graph paper, although I do think that's really pretty against the cream of that diary paper. So for now, that's where I'm loving it. Yes, I feel like there would be quite a lot of background noise. As much as he tries to stay quiet, some things that you do around the house just, they're not quiet. And I am working in a room that's right next to where he would possibly be if he was at home. So I feel like it's not really fair to him to say, shh, I'm doing what I'm doing and you need to be quiet. So I just think it's more considerate if I try and do the videos when he's busy doing other things. So I have no idea what order I've put these in, or even if there is an order, but we're just popping them in. Okay, so I do have a couple of spares, which I can save for a rainy day. I've used all the same size. Okay, I have no idea what order I want these signatures to go in, but I think I'll leave that video there. I don't know where I'm at time-wise, or whether we could. I quite like that for the front. I like the impact of the unicorn at the beginning, or whether I want the fairy actually. I really like her too. So I'm thinking maybe the fairy first, and then, so I'm just looking, it looks like I have 3 with graphics and 3 without. So those 3 without. So perhaps I'll alter them. Those, and then I'm just looking at these, the colour scheme is quite similar too, so maybe the fairy should go in the middle just to break up the colours, I'm thinking. I don't know. That one, and then that one, and then that one. Decision made. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for joining me while I pop those all together. I do have some really fabulous little scraps here that I'm looking forward to being able to play with, plus the papers that were left in the paper pad, and of course the covers also have some images on them that I can incorporate. So I don't know if you're aware, I certainly wasn't until I started working with the Stamperia paper pads, but The covers are like they're almost the same paper as the papers themselves. They feel like they're the same thickness. So I can certainly cut out these images here and use these in my journal as well. And the same with the back. Like, how fun. Oh, lots of ideas. So I'm going to leave that there. Thank you again for joining me. Go out and have some fun. Be creative. It's good for the soul. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Happy crafting, everybody. Bye for now.